What's going on, folks? My name is Joe, aka J to the OE. We talk a lot about the Nintendo Switch here because it's one of my favorite systems, if not my favorite system of all time. I started collecting in 2019, which was the heyday. I mean, the golden years, the peak years for the Nintendo Switch, and it's been really, really fun to collect for the Switch. What I think is great about the Switch is that it's given indie games and indie developers a real chance to shine. So here's my top 10 indie games on a Nintendo Switch. But before we get to any of that, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. So the first game we're going to talk about has been on sale in the eShop for so long. It's been $1.99 for the longest time, and that's Inside. Inside is creepy, man. What I like about this game is that it tells a story without talking to you. You know, it shows rather than tells, and it's really compelling. There's some really crazy things that happen. It's a great platformer. It reminds me a little bit of Little Nightmares, which I'm not sure if that's an indie game, but if it is, that's probably on that list too, but not on this list right now. Anyways, Inside's a great game, good art, really creepy, really scary at times, but a nice short game where you could kind of get a really great experience if you have a day off and you want to go finish a game in a day. The next game I'm going to talk about, it's called Castle Crashers. This was an old Xbox arcade game. And man, I don't know if it's indie. It looks kind of indie, so we'll see. But it's one of my favorite games. I love it because it has RPG elements. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up 2.5D. The art is funny. It has a lot of humor to it. We could play it in couch co-op. What's cool is that you could pick a character and level it up as you keep going. Me and my wife played it a few times, and we really liked it, and I like it that she can play with me. And so that's one of my favorite indie games on the Switch because my wife likes it too, and it's fun. Another game that I really like is Celeste. Celeste tells a compelling story about mental health and you trying to work your way up a mountain, and it's really hard, you know. The only way I finished it was on easy mode. But the story and the battle that Celeste has on her with herself, basically climbing up that mountain, is really deep, you know. And it talks about how kind of we're our own worst enemies and we're the ones holding ourselves back from really climbing our own mountain. And man, yeah, so Celeste is a really great game, kicks my butt every time, but I love it, you know, it's great. Another great indie game is Golf Story. I've talked about this in my top 10 list, but Golf Story is a fun golf RPG. So if you're really into like Mario Golf and a good story of you developing your own character, Golf Story is where it's at. That's one of my favorite indie games on the Nintendo Switch. Another indie game that I really like on the Switch is West of Loathing. West of Loathing is an RPG. It's kind of like Skyrim, or actually more often than not like Red Dead Redemption, except you're stick figures. You're in a Western. I know, it seems weird, and it is kind of weird, but that's what I like about indie games. It gives you mechanics that you don't really do anywhere else. It's a turn-based RPG Western. The story is hilarious. It's very self-aware. It's a short game, but it's fun. West of Loathing is a fun Western, fun story. It really doesn't take itself too seriously. The only thing about it is there's no voice acting, so there's a lot of reading, which, you know, it's fundamental. So sometimes it gets really slow, but that's okay. The mechanics are deeper than I thought it would be. And yeah, that's a really, really fun game. Another fun game is called Cadence of Hyrule, and it's an offshoot of Crypt of the Necrodancer, but it's really fun. I mean, I like rhythm games. I like the top-down old-school Zelda, and this kind of combines the two, and it allows you to move around, and you have to move around on beat, and that's how you have to kind of kill the enemies as well, and you get more powerful and more bonuses as you stay on beat. And so it's really fun. It's fun to play with headphones and just kind of bobbing around, especially with that soundtrack. That soundtrack is fire. So Cadence of Hyrule is a really, really fun indie game. Another fun indie game, which isn't indie anymore, and I mean, it's kind of an indie offshoot of a big corporation, but the Ori games, Ori and the Blind Forest, Ori and the Will of the Wisp is beautiful. And man, it's a great Metroidvania. It's beautiful. The story is compelling. It tugs at your heartstrings. It's one of those games that kind of had me tearing up the first 5 minutes. And really, it's a harder game, but it's fair. You know, the mechanics it gives you is really nice. The fighting and the jumping and all the different things as you progress through the game. It's fair and it's fun and just a really, really beautiful game. So the Ori games on the Switch is a must-have if you really like Metroidvania or if you're really into indie games. Those are must-haves too. This next one, I'm not sure if it's kind of an indie game. It's indie-like to me, but it's Cult of the Lamb. Cult of the Lamb is part farming sim, part roguelite. And, you know, you run a cult, and you have followers, and you run a village. You build a village with the followers, and then that village gives you power-ups for your, I guess, dungeon crawling, or as you go to find more villagers. And yeah, I'm not like super into roguelites, but this one was fun for me. Cult of the Lamb was a really fun game and is one of my favorite indies in the Nintendo Switch. The next one, I had no idea. It was weird. My cousin told me to play it one Christmas. It's Untitled Goose Game. Untitled Goose Game. At first I was like, what? You play a goose? And I'm a serious gamer, so I only play serious games now. But Untitled Goose Game was amazing. The puzzles that you had to do. So you play as a goose and you wreak havoc in the town. And there's different goals like get the farmer to lose his hat, or steal some keys, or put a bunch of things in a pond. And man, it was just fun. You know, it was fun. And I didn't understand why, but I just had fun. And there's a dedicated honk button, which is just amazing. So Untitled Goose Game it's a great indie game for the Nintendo Switch. And these last two are from the same developers. I believe so. One is my friend Pedro. I rave about this game. It's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up, sort of. Side-scrolling shoot 'em up platformer. You know, and there's a talking banana. There's kind of this slow down time matrix mechanic with it, and it's pretty irreverent and violent and just fun all around. And it's fun trying to creatively clear and kill a room full of people trying to shoot you down. And the boss battles are pretty intense, so that's fun. And they're from the same developer, I believe. And so is my friend Pedro. I guess I like this developer. It's Gris. Gris is a side-scrolling platformer, and it's beautiful. Like the hand-drawn art. I would almost even put it in the cozy category, just because of the music and the way it makes me feel. Like I'm not even done with it yet, and it's already one of my favorite indie games. And I got it on the eShop when it was on sale, and I loved it so much that I ended up hunting down a copy of the physical. And yeah, I'm really into Gris, and it's fun, it's beautiful, and it's really challenging as well. But it's not too challenging because you know me in easy mode. So it's very easy to play and very fun to just go through. So yeah, you know, I tried to make it quick, but these are like my 10 or 11 favorite indie games for the Nintendo Switch, and the Switch is great for indies. What are some of your favorite indie games that you have played or that you've been wondering about? I've played a lot more indie games, but these are just some of my favorites. And yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys. It's been fun hanging out. And yeah, I'll see you later, or I'll see you another time.